Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years and shares her insights on the local housing market. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. Hey, we are delighted to have you on Missoula Real Estate Today, the next to last weekend of March 2019. One more to go. In fact, it's the Home and Garden Show next weekend. Big annual event at the Adams Center going on the 30th and 31st. Diane Beck presents Missoula Real Estate Today. And she said, Becky, get on down the street, go say hi to Denny. Becky Peterson, licensed realtor with the Beck team on Missoula Real Estate Today this morning. Hello, old friend.
Hello, Denny. So nice to see you. It's been, 25 years?
Well,
we've
started working together. I think that we've seen each other a little more recently than that. But
yes.
Becky and I worked together for a number of years, and she went off and did some other radio things, and now she's got back into the real estate game, and I know that you're very happy to be with the Beck team.
I am. This is my second tour in real estate. I did it back in 04 to 10, and
right.
I've known Diane for, 30 years. She helped me buy my very first house back in 1990. And we've always talked about kind of being together and working together. So this was a great opportunity. And I'm so happy to have been able to join her and be under her umbrella and help her with her buyers. It's been fantastic.
We had Brent Wahlberg from Windermere on a few weeks ago with the Wahlberg team.
Yes.
And this whole team thing, I mean, it's not a brand new concept, but it's a little bit... I don't want to say a unique approach, but still a fairly fresh approach, right?
It's building a lot of steam right now. Realtors, clients are finding the benefits to our teams where, you've got on the Beck team, there's 5 of us.
Right.
We've got a marketing director that's making sure that all of our listings and everything we do are being marketed to the T. We have a transaction coordinator, Becky Weedo, that that was on the team before, and so she takes care of everything from the minute the buy-sell is written, either coming in from a buyer or receiving to a seller that we have. And then we have Caitlin, who is our listing coordinator and all other things. She's amazing. So and then I usually deal with all of our buyers. We have Diane, dealing with our sellers or everybody. But we all touch everybody. So you got 5 minds going all the time outside of the fact that we have, Windermere and our brokerage. So those teams are powerful because you've got all those people at your disposal. 5 minds are better than one. It's a lot of fun. So it's been really great, and it is a great concept.
I'm glad you described it that way because I didn't want to say Becky Peterson with the Beck team, Windermere Real Estate, specializing in buyers. You focus on buyers, but as you say, you kind of everybody sort of dabbles into each other's specific field.
Oh, the whole team, yeah. We do. I just normally take a lot of buyers, but I have, listings I bring in, whether they're from my sphere, my friends, my family, people I know or that I've worked with. And we're all touching all sides of it. And then, like I said, in addition, you always have your brokerage. And we've got John Brower as our broker, and he is salt of the earth. I couldn't ask for a better person between he and Diane that are always there when you've got the questions or thoughts.
Well, as everybody knows, February was just dreadful. The stupid groundhog lied. Will be executed for that by somebody, I'm sure. Such a long winter for one thing, but a very late winter, and it's amazing. There's been some sunshine. There's been finally above normal daytime temperatures a little bit this past week or so. But isn't it amazing what that does to a lot of industries, but yours included?
It's kind of like the spring flowers. As they start to sprout, so does everyone that's been in real estate. Yeah. It is. It's like if somebody turned on a fire hose.
Exactly.
You always have real estate year round. And I think there's a misconception that it always stops in fourth quarter. It does slow down, holidays, weather, but we normally pick up right around the beginning of February. And this year, it did. For a little while, they were all excited, and then we got hammered with the storms. And I was kind of looking at some fun facts before I came over. And what was really interesting to me was that in the entire month of February, we had 152 new listings in Missoula.
For the entire month?
For the entire month. So I just did Missoula. I didn't go way out in the county. Sure. I just did inside to kind of keep it relative. And that includes, probably 5 or 6 commercial listings, but the rest were all pretty much residential. And interestingly enough, 21% of those went under contract in February. So I just looked at the listings that came on and listed from February 1st to February 28th. And in that time frame, how many of those went under contract? Well, about 21%.
Okay. Is that, would you say, where would you rate that? Is that average? Is that well above average? Is that kind of
somewhere, I think that's
somewhere
low.
in the curve, somewhere in the norm? Below, low.
I think that's a little low for that many listings. Right. I think we would normally have more listings, maybe 21% under contract. But what was interesting to me is that I thought, because we noticed as soon as the sun came out last week, it got super busy. And I thought, I wonder just how many listings came on just in the last 7 days. So I pulled that up. 51 new listings in 7 days. But of that, 20% of those went under contract in 1 week.
Holy smoke.
And then I thought, well, okay, what price range? It was all over the place. It was, $400,000 houses, some in the 300s, one over 500 that went under contract. And then one's down in 150 to 200. Those always tend to go, if they're nice, they tend to go a little faster if they're a townhome or a single family. So it kind of was representative of what we've seen and felt in our office alone. We felt like the doors were blowing off and we're drinking through a fire hose, and we're excited. It creates so much energy between that and the sunshine, and people are excited to list their homes or for me to go out and see homes. But it just was an interesting little thing to say, all right, that's what that sunshine did.
Yeah.
People are ready.
So that told you, I assume, okay, the market is still very alive and vibrant, but just like so many other things, it's kind of hibernating right now. And that sounds to me like the group that, and it's only going to grow from here, obviously. The buyers and sellers, everything's just going to keep expanding for you guys and your business in the months to come. But almost sounds like, not to use another spring weather animal analogy, but the early bird trying to get the worm. Get that listing, get things going now, because it's not quite spring, but getting mighty close. And I would imagine that if you came back and talked to us and presented us numbers in a month, that you would see even more.
Exponential growth. Absolutely. Yes, exactly. I think we'll see quite a few more.
So you're getting a few people probably doing the right thing. Smart thing, getting a jump on that, and only going to flourish more from here.
I think so. I think sometimes people say, well, I want to wait till the snow melts.
Yeah.
And so these people that have jumped on in the last week are seeing the fact that our inventory is so low. There's a pent-up demand. So you can do one of two things. You can wait till April, May to list when your flowers are actually maybe coming out of the frozen ground and the snow is gone. But those that are listing right now, what's happening is they're getting in and there's no inventory. So they've got less competition for a seller right now if they get their house on the market. You've got a picture of your home from the summer buried somewhere on your cell phone or on a camera. We can put that, but we go out and take great pictures. We'll update it, but people can see that. They want to go see homes right now, and there's not a lot of inventory. So again, your competition's less. But the demand is really, really strong. I was reading that it remains strong throughout the vast majority of the country. It's not just here. This is nationwide. But in more often than not right now, there's multiple buyers competing for houses in some cases. We put a house on the market last week. We had, I think, 25 showings in 3 days. It was in the right price range. It was priced right. You got to do that. But that amount of people in 3 days to go out and see one home that hit the market, and it's not fancy, but it's just priced right in the right neighborhood for somebody, for certain people.
Yes.
Every neighborhood's right. It's just who's looking in yours.
Yes.
So like I said, there's a lot of less competition. The supply that we have to fulfill all these buyers is little, so we run out of inventory. The process is going to be quicker. I hate that word because I feel like it's not a proper word. Quicker, more quickly. But today's competitive environment has forced buyers to do all that they can to stand out from the crowd. So that means they're getting pre-qualified. Pre-approved is what we recommend. We want to know you're approved, pre-approved to go forward. So when we present that offer, I want to send a letter from the mortgage lender saying this client is pre-approved and ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have anything there. So let's move through the process. We're going to be able to get it done more quickly. And those buyers want to do that. They want to put their best foot forward. And And there's never going to be a better time to move up. Houses are going to continue to go up. So if you say, well, I want to wait, what are you waiting for? Because prices are not going to go backwards. But the next move will help you get into your luxury home. It's going to help you step up. So now's the time to move up into where you're at now and go into your next home, or maybe you're downsizing. Maybe it's time to go from stairs. That's what I think about all the time. Go from stairs to single level living. So prices are projected to appreciate about 4.6 over the next year, according to CoreLogic. How that represents in Missoula, we'll have to see, but that's the national. So if you're moving to a higher price home, it'll wind up costing you more if you wait.
Yeah.
And we always like to say it's time to move on with your life. Look at the reason you decided to sell in the first place and determine whether it's worth it waiting. Is the money more important than being with your family because you want to go move closer to family? Is money more important than your health? Maybe it's those reasons you're ready to sell. Is money more important than having the freedom to go on with your life the way you think you should? Are you letting a not selling now hold you back? So those are kind of the reasons that we think it's really good to think about selling right now. Don't wait. There's always others, and we'll help you talk about your situation. Everyone's an individual.
Becky Peterson, licensed realtor with the Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, our guest on Missoula Real Estate today. What kind of frustrations do you deal with buyers trying to work through you? I would think that being prepped and just ready to go at a moment's notice if you can. But what else? What frustrates prospective buyers in this market?
It's finding what they want. It's finding something that fits their budget and their needs. And that's kind of been difficult right now. They're frustrated because there's not enough inventory to go look at. And
because that equals compromise.
Right. You have to, and you always have to do that. It's rare to go in, unless you're building maybe, to walk in and say, okay, here's my 10 criteria. We sit down and I say, you can tell me what you want, but let's talk about what you need.
Yeah.
Tell me about your lifestyle, because sometimes people have a perception of what a house should be. And then once you start talking to them, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a house, but let's talk about a home. And I discover things about it. But then as we go out, we go and look, and there's 4 houses to look at. Well, you're making one of the most major purchases of your entire life. And it affects you in so many ways, not just financially, but emotionally. It's where you raise your family. Like we say, we sell houses, but you create a home when you get there. And home means so much to so many people, and you get 4 to choose from. That's their big frustration right now. Or in those areas that have little, they will see that one that's got 95% of everything. They're ready to go, and it's gone. We go to look at it, and I say, you know what, that one under contract. I just called the realtor to make a showing. Those are their frustrations right now. When it comes to the financing part, actually, I send them and say, you need to go talk to a lender. We might give them names of 3 or 4, but I say, talk to as many as you're comfortable. Interview them. You're sharing your entire life story. And Missoula's got great mortgage lenders. There's a number of people here that are just wonderful. So go find that person that really fits you, that you really trust, because you're gonna be pretty much hip to hip at a minimum for 45, 60, 90, 120 days, sharing your life story with this person. And they're really great at helping people fit what fits their life. There's so many different programs. And that's for a mortgage lender to talk about. I'm by no means a specialist at all. Once they have that in place, it makes the process with me so much more fun. But I tell them to do the same thing when they're looking for an agent, because you're going to be, call, spend time, we'll talk. And if I don't fit your niche, if it's not comfortable to talk with me, I want that person to find another agent. Because for both of us, we're spending a lot of time in the car. We're spending a lot of time on the phone, on the internet, emailing. So most importantly, you got to like each other. Most of my clients, when I'm done, so far, I can say all that I can look at my last 10 transactions and say we're friends. We turned into friends afterwards. And that means a lot, that we could get along and we're like, it's likable, trustworthy. Again, you got to trust that person. And that's to me, that's a real gut feeling. So when you're talking to somebody right up, if you get that gut feeling, great. If you don't, there's 700 and some realtors. Are they listening? And listening is different. You know the difference in active listening. Does your realtor listen to you? Or are they thinking about what they need to say next or tell you next, which is a really hard trait to break. We all have issues listening now and then, but are they hearing what you're saying? In other words, I had a client call and was moving into Missoula, had a new position here in town, and we started talking about what they wanted in a home. And as we were going out, he said, I was here earlier and the person was showing me things that they thought I would want versus what I told them. So they were showing him places up in the mountains that were in more larger homes, but out in the outskirts. And what this client really wanted was to be in town in a pre-World War II home. They loved architecture. So we spent 2 days visiting some of the most amazing homes in Missoula. And when I say amazing, I don't mean price-wise. I mean walking in and his knowledge of this house was built in 1942 and look at this and it's this type of architecture and look here, it was so amazing. So you want to know that they can listen.
Yeah.
They've got, they're qualified and experienced. I can't tell you how much it means when you've got people that, I like to say, realtors are experts in solving problems you never knew existed. The things that come up that we learn every day. That's what's great about a great office is you're going around going, have you dealt with this before? Have you dealt with this zoning thing or this lot line issue or whatever the case may be? We're always learning every day. But that experience comes a long ways of being able to been there. Some of them we've seen, a lot we've seen. Diane's seen a ton. But that's what we do with that experience. Knowledgeable. Do they know your neighborhoods that you like? Do they know the neighborhoods in our area from Missoula, whether you're doing Ravalli, going up north? Having that knowledge about the neighborhoods, because there again, that neighborhood becomes your home. You pick the neighborhood, but do I know about it? That's pretty important. You want to know that they're, honest. Obviously, I want to know somebody that's dealing with my largest purchase is honest. That they're really upfront. And honesty doesn't always mean, to me, it means sometimes I got to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's probably one of the hardest things is looking at somebody and telling them that's not the right deal. Or no, we're not going to go in. You should not offer $100,000 below their asking price on a $200,000 house. And those are silly examples. There's more serious ones.
Yeah, but it's probably happened a time or two in your career, hasn't it?
Oh, I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
What we own is always worth more than what we're going to buy. And that's human nature. And I can understand that because, of course, my house to me is worth far more than when I research it and see what it's really worth.
Of course.
But they just want to, you want to know that they can be there and that when there's bad news, they're not afraid to call. What's going to happen? Hey, this hiccup came, but don't worry. We're on top of it. But don't wait. They're there to communicate. Obviously local. They need to know our local community. It's funny. I'll get calls and somebody will say, hey, I want to go look, way out in Thompson Falls. And I'm like, that's a beautiful drive, but I think there's somebody that specializes up there that lives up in that area that maybe better suit you. For me, now there's other agents that go up in that area all the time and they're great with that. For me, I'm going to find you somebody that maybe knows the area better than I do. Or they'll call and say, hey, can you do Butte? Like there's great realtors in Butte.
Yeah.
Let me call some of them. And like I said, straightforward came off with that honesty. They're going to be real straightforward with you about the process, how marketing really works, be really realistic with you. And then they're committed. Am I in it for the long haul? This is not a, buy here, pay here. It's going to be a process. And you want to know that agent's going to be there if this takes you 3 months, 6 months, a year. I've got clients that are coming in that we've been working with for 3 years, communicating, looking, and then now they're ready to go. I have some that are just starting now. They may not come for a few. And it's important that they're willing for that, not go, no, I need the deal right now. There's plenty of that coming in, but building that relationship over time is really important. And you want to know they're going to be there for that.
Becky Peterson, licensed realtor with the Beck team, the Diane Beck team, of course, of Windermere Real Estate. Diane Beck brings you this program. Early in the show, you had brought up, you were talking about figures, a number of sales and listings and whatnot for February and how they compare to March and how March is noticeably expanding over the top of February. But you also said that as far as the price ranges of those houses that were selling all over the map. And I think that probably surprised a few people listening because I really think that a lot of people in this market have gotten into the mindset of 300 grand or nothing, right? I mean, you probably, you know, being in the business, you know that that's not necessarily accurate. You know that that's almost becoming an average price, but you know that that's not the only price point. And you had brought up, we did a lot of listings that prices were surprisingly all over the place, and that includes on the lower end.
There are, and it's setting your expectation of what does that get. Yes, we all know that 20 years ago it got you, $150,000 got you a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom,
Oh, sure.
1-bath house, or I remember my first house in 1990 up on top of Hillview, Cotter Court we paid $64,900.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of bid on that, 4 years later, it was up over 100. And, that was that phase back then in the 90s we went through. But it's understanding what you're going to get. So your expectations are there. But there are properties out there listed. They may be a townhome or a condo, which is popular right now. People are taking, some developers have taken old duplexes that they rented out for years, and they've gone through the process to make that a townhome and then sell each side. So somebody can have, rather than paying rent and paying somebody else's mortgage, you now have the opportunity to go in and pay yourself for that. And so those, some of those are in that 150, 160, they just price up depending on where they're at, depending on their age. But it's allowing people to get started, get in, start there, make your own investment, and then grow it like others. You can sell that in 4, 5, 10 years and make your next step, or you can stay there forever, whatever your needs are. But not everything is over 300. Now, if you're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath house in, a newer neighborhood, no, we're not going to find anything under 350 most likely. So it's really about what's your expectation, what are your needs, but it's okay to start without everything. Like I said, I look back at the first house that we bought, my husband and I, and it wasn't fancy at all. But it was our starting place. It was our home. And I drive by that home all the time. Look at the tree we planted, and it will forever be part of my soul. But it's where we started. And we've gone up and then we've gone down. You do all those things. And so, there's things out there, but expectations and reality, I'm pretty blunt when people call. Because I'm not going to mislead you. I don't want to waste your time or mine, but I don't want to get your hopes up. The first thing we do, though, is get pre-qualified. Go out or pre-approved, see a lender, know what you can afford, because there's nothing worse than going out and looking at a beautiful home and then knowing you can't have it. Why? That's just going to frustrate you and make everything else look different. So it's really good to know what you can afford. And what you can afford is not always just what you can get a mortgage for. It's you looking at your own finances and saying, I qualify for this, but do I really want to spend that much? You can fit that all in. Then, then we go out and look that way and say, all right, here's our max. We're going to go look here. We're going to look under and find you just the right place. But setting expectations in the beginning is really important.
You did a great job covering things that you need to get done ahead of time as a buyer. Really, really important qualities to look for in a realtor and the relationship that you're going to develop with them. So it's pretty obvious that price is not about to decline. So
No.
It's always kind of, when is a good time to buy? Oh, probably now, especially if you're looking to maybe save a little money. What about sellers? What is their attitude right now? If they don't have to sell, if it's not just an absolute urgent thing, I'm getting transferred, we've got to move, I got to sell this house now. Yeah, but maybe it's maybe somebody has the means, it's a second home, or there's just absolutely no real sense of urgency to have to sell it now. Do they just figure, why not wait another year, 2 years?
Well, they might.
They might, but is there? I don't want to say, a lot of things could change for the worse between now and then, and doesn't appear to be any kind of indication that ours. But there's still got to be pretty good reasons to, even if you don't absolutely have to sell it right this minute, why not?
Not having to sell it is fine, but if you're wanting to, you're thinking about it, we say, I'm not going to because I don't have to, but I'd like to move to a different, like you say, I want to move to a different location in town. I want to change the type of house I'm in. The kids have changed age. I want my master on the main. I want them up, or I want them down, or I want them on the other side of the garage in the back of the yard. Just kidding. Depending on their age, they're 19, they're back home, and it's time to ship them on the other side of the garage. Yeah. Just kidding.
Lifestyle changes.
Lifestyle changes. Yes, it's a good time to sell because, okay, I don't want to do it right now. I'm going to wait for a year. What's going to happen in a year? Yes, your house will appreciate, but so are the others. So I wouldn't wait if that's that situation where you're wanting to make a lifestyle change, a location change in town. Maybe you want to go out into the county instead. Maybe you want to go out farther and get out. You're ready to have more room. Or maybe you're ready to come in and not have that, not have a 1 acre, 2 acre yard that you're taking care of. Whatever those means be, waiting for a year, you just have to remember everything's going to continue. Yeah. I think that right now we're still just above, still in a buyer's market. In a seller's market, excuse me. I said that wrong. We're in a seller's market. Not a heavy the pendulum isn't all the way over to the left.
Sure.
It's ticked back and it's getting close to being an even. But in a year, it's going to be even. So if you're thinking about it now, you have that opportunity where it's still a seller's market. Where in a year, I don't know.
We've only got a couple minutes left here, and I'm not trying to throw one at you that I didn't talk about ahead of time, but I'm always just curious. You as a realtor, what are some of the things that you like the best right now about the Missoula housing market?
I get to hear people's stories. It's really, really fun when you meet somebody, and as we're going through the process, you learn different people's stories, where they're from, what their background. I get to really know them, and I love that, that connection part. We share stories. That's been really fun because I've always been a people person, a little bit of a talker, if you can't tell, my poor clients. But that's been really fun because the people I've gotten to know that I wouldn't normally maybe meet in my daily life. Yeah. Life changes where you're at. And so that's been really, really fun. I'd have to say the changes in the market and going out and seeing what's being done today in the construction or even people remodeling or just painting. That's been really fun. People always say, oh, it's challenging. It's different every day. Yeah, well, I can take some of that for the good and some of it can go. But having that, again, that opportunity to just meet people and learn their stories that I might not have crossed.
Nice.
I really do enjoy it. And I'm a big, I was born and raised here. So I've got a lot of pride for Western Montana and Missoula. I love it here. I've raised my 3 children here. I've got one still coming up. And I'm glad I didn't move. I looked at moving, when our kids were young, out of state. And, it's a privilege to own property here. It's a privilege to have grown up here. And I love to share it with people and tell them the stories.
A special thank you to some of Diane Beck's marketing partners that help bring you Missoula Real Estate today. Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage, Miles Link of Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Carol Blodgett from MakeItMissoula.com. We are out of time. Our guest has been Becky Peterson, licensed realtor with the Beck team on Missoula Real Estate today. Great seeing you again.
You too. If people have questions, they can call us. You can call me on my cell my main line. I use it for everything like everybody. It's 406-829-6003. Or you can call the Windermere office, 541-6550, and you can ask for the Beck team or Becky, Diane, whomever. And we're happy to, expand on any of this or answer any questions or guide you wherever you need to go. We're happy to help.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today. We hope you found this morning's information to be helpful. If you have any suggested topics for any future Missoula Real Estate Today programs or any questions about buying or selling, contact Diane Beck with Windermere Real Estate. Email dianebeck@realtor.com or visit her website, homesinmissoula.com. That's homesinmissoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.